The global supplement market is worth $155 billion a year. Centrum, Emergen-C, Prevagen, Nature Made, bottles on every pharmacy shelf from Sao Paulo to Warsaw to Lagos, built on the promise that what you swallow will protect you. 84 studies reviewed, nearly 750,000 people tracked. Here is what the evidence actually says, and what 5 things are worth your money. The paper trail. They market it as insurance. One pill covering every deficiency, preventing heart disease, preventing cancer, extending your life. That was the pitch. Multivitamins. Centrum alone sells in over 70 countries. More than half of adults in North America, Europe, and South America take one daily. In 2022, the United States Preventive Services Task Force reviewed 84 independent studies covering nearly 740,000 participants, specifically to answer whether multivitamins prevent cardiovascular disease and cancer, the 2 leading causes of death on Earth. Their conclusion? Insufficient evidence that they provide any benefit. Not a weak benefit, not a modest benefit. Insufficient evidence of benefit at all. A Johns Hopkins analysis of 450,000 people confirmed it. Multivitamins did not reduce risk for heart disease, did not reduce risk for cancer, did not reduce risk for cognitive decline, did not reduce risk for early death. The lead researcher, Larry Appel of the Johns Hopkins Welch Center, put it in one sentence. Pills are not a shortcut to better health. The industry does not put that sentence on the bottle. The industry supports immunity and charges you $20 a month to believe it. The reason the science keeps failing multivitamins is structural. Fruits and vegetables contain thousands of compounds that interact with each other. Vitamins, fiber, phytochemicals, antioxidants working together in ratios that took millions of years of evolution to produce. A tablet contains isolated molecules stripped from that system. Micronutrients in isolation do not behave the same way as micronutrients inside food. The supplement industry knew this and kept selling. The label still says complete daily nutrition, and the science says complete daily meal. If you want your body to subscribe to a coupon you never redeemed, take vitamins C supplements when you're not deficient. Vitamin C is the most consumed single supplement on the planet. Emergen-C alone generates over $500 million a year in global sales. The marketing promise, held since the 1970s, is simple. Take extra vitamin C, prevent a cold, fight infection, boost immunity. Here's the problem. The human body controls vitamin C levels tightly. Once you are above the saturation point, roughly 90 milligrams per day for an adult, the rest exits in your urine. The National Institutes of Health confirmed this directly. Supplementation in people already near saturation would be expected to have made little or no difference to measured outcomes. The Food and Drug Administration reviewed the clinical data specifically on whether vitamin C treats colds and found no study showing it to be clearly effective for prevention or treatment. The FDA's finding was cited in a 2023 class action lawsuit against Theraflu and Emergen-C in a New York federal court, which alleged consumers were being misled about the immune benefits of vitamin C supplements. That same year, the California federal class action against Emergen-C gummies revealed laboratory testing showed some products contained only 409 milligrams of vitamin C per serving, against the 750 milligrams on the label, 45% less than advertised. The federal regulation requires supplements to meet labeled nutrient amounts throughout their shelf life. Emergen-C's transparent plastic packaging exposes the vitamin C to light, air, and heat, and the vitamin degrades. The label said 750. The lab said 409. The checkout price said the same thing either way. This one was marketed as cancer prevention. A government trial stopped it early when it started causing cancer instead. Beta-carotene, found in every health food store on the planet. Orange, sold as a precursor to vitamin A, positioned for decades as an antioxidant that reduces cancer risk. The beta-carotene and retinol efficacy trial, known as CARET, enrolled 18,314 participants across 6 sites in the United States, beginning in 1985. The study was designed to run until 1997. It was halted in January 1996, 21 months early, because the participants taking beta-carotene supplements showed a 28% increase in lung cancer incidence and a 17% increase in total mortality compared to placebo. The trial was not stopped because the results were ambiguous. It was stopped because the safety board concluded there was definitive evidence of no benefit and substantial evidence of active harm. The alpha-tocopherol beta-carotene study in Finland, running simultaneously with 29,133 participants, found an 18% excess in cumulative lung cancer in the beta-carotene group. 2 independent trials, 2 countries, same result. The United States Preventive Services Task Force reviewed 6 clinical trials in 2022 and found beta-carotene supplements associated with a 20% increased risk of lung cancer across the full population. They now formally recommend against taking beta-carotene. That recommendation does not appear on the bottle at the pharmacy. The bottle still shows an orange on a green background and the word antioxidant. If you subscribe to this video and tell one person what beta-carotene trials actually showed, you have already done more than the label will ever do. This channel draws on documented trial data and federal regulatory records. Now back to the list. It was positioned as the heart protective antioxidant. Clinical trials ran the numbers and found it shortened lives. Vitamin E, sold in pharmacies on every continent, marketed for decades as protection against oxidative stress, heart disease, and cancer. The United States Preventive Services Task Force issued a specific recommendation against vitamin E supplementation. No net benefit in reducing mortality, cardiovascular disease, or cancer. That is not a lukewarm finding. The ATBC study, 29,000 participants, showed alpha tocopherol, a form of vitamin E, had no effect on lung cancer incidence. The Annals of Internal Medicine editorial from Johns Hopkins, titled "Enough is Enough: Stop Wasting Money on Vitamin and Mineral Supplements," identified vitamin E alongside beta-carotene as supplements that appear to be harmful, especially at high doses. Stanford Medical School nutritionists confirmed that excess vitamin A in retinoid form can harm the liver and that too much vitamin B6 can damage nerves. The pattern across the fat-soluble vitamins is consistent. For people without deficiency, isolation and megadose create risk, not protection. The vitamin E industry does not adjust its label when federal task forces issue recommendations against the product. The label says antioxidant support. The task force says no net benefit. One of those statements requires evidence. Only one of them has it. The promise was that you would digest collagen and it would reach your skin, rebuild your joints, reverse the visible signs of aging. The reality is how digestion works. Collagen supplements. Collagen is a protein. When you swallow any protein, your stomach breaks it down with acids and enzymes into individual amino acids. Those amino acids enter your bloodstream, and your body uses them wherever it needs protein, in muscle, in tissue, and immune function. Your body does not receive the instruction, send this to the skin as collagen. That decision belongs to your genetics, your age, your diet, and your hormones, not to the peptide you swallowed. The global collagen supplement market was valued at $5 billion in 2024 and is projected to reach over $10 billion by 2030, largely on the basis of marketing claims, not clinical proof. A dietitian at the University of Colorado Hospital summarized the mechanism accurately. What is best for skin health is getting vitamin C-rich foods. The compound the supplement industry tells you to swallow in peptide form is the same compound your body produces when you eat bell peppers, broccoli, and citrus. The food costs less. The food has evidence. The supplement has packaging. The hair supplement aisle runs on this story. Biotin grows hair. Biotin strengthens nails. Biotin transforms brittle keratin into healthy growth. The story is real, but only for one specific person. The person who is genuinely biotin deficient. Biotin. Biotin deficiency is clinically rare. It occurs in people with specific genetic disorders, people who consume raw egg whites in large quantities over time, or people on prolonged parenteral nutrition. For those individuals, biotin supplements are medically necessary and clinically effective. For everyone else, the majority of people who bought $3 billion of biotin products globally in 2024, there is no published evidence that biotin supplementation produces any benefit in hair growth, nail strength, or skin quality. The FDA has issued explicit warnings that high biotin doses interfere with critical laboratory tests, including tests for thyroid function and cardiac troponin, which is used to diagnose heart attacks, producing falsely normal or falsely abnormal results. In 2019, the FDA warned that at least one patient death had occurred because a troponin test returned a falsely low result due to biotin interference, leading to a missed cardiac diagnosis. The bottle says healthy hair, skin, and nails. The FDA says it can mask a heart attack on your blood work. The shelf price does not reflect that information. A court spent 7 years examining this one. A jury reviewed the evidence. The Federal Trade Commission won Prevagen. Prevagen has been sold in pharmacies across North America and Europe since 2007 under one claim. It improves memory in 90 days. The active ingredient is apoecrine, a protein extracted from bioluminescent jellyfish, marketed as a compound that enters the brain and supplements proteins lost during aging. Quincy Bioscience, the manufacturer, generated $165 million in sales between 2007 and 2015 on the strength of that claim. Here is what the company's own clinical trial found. In the Madison Memory Study, the one Quincy conducted, funded, and controlled, apoecrine failed to produce a statistically significant improvement over placebo on any of the 9 cognitive tests the study was originally designed to measure, not one. Quincy then ran more than 30 post hoc analyses of the same data, sorted through the results, and extracted 2 overlapping subgroups where some participants showed slight improvement on one test of visual learning. That finding was repackaged as clinically proven. Scientists at the FTC and the New York Attorney General's office filed a consumer protection complaint in January 2017. Multiple independent scientists confirmed the structural problem. Apoecrin is a protein. The stomach breaks it down. It enters the bloodstream as common amino acids. No different from the amino acids in a chicken breast, it cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. There's nothing for it to do once it arrives. A jury found that all 8 of Quincy's advertising claims, improves memory, reduces memory problems associated with aging, clinically proven, were unsupported by competent and reliable scientific evidence. A federal court issued an injunction in December 2024, permanently prohibiting Quincy from making memory improvement claims. Consumers received between $12 and $70 per claim in a class settlement. Quincy continued selling the product. This one does not need a supplement label. It needs a legal definition. Detox and cleanse supplements, global industry, sold from Buenos Aires to Berlin to Bangkok, as a way to eliminate toxins, reset the liver, purify the bloodstream. The liver filters blood continuously. The kidneys filter blood continuously. The lymphatic system, the gut lining, the skin, the human body runs a detoxification process every second of every hour at a scale no supplement can replicate or assist. There is no clinical mechanism by which a capsule of dandelion root or activated charcoal cleanses an organ that is already continuously cleaning itself. The term detox has no regulatory definition in the European Union, the United States, Brazil, or any other jurisdiction. It is not a medical claim that can be tested. It is a marketing word attached to products for which no efficacy standard exists. The global detox supplement market exceeded $4 billion in 2024. That money purchased the feeling of cleansing, not cleansing itself. Energy boosting with B12 injections and supplements is a multi-billion-dollar global market built almost entirely on a single misunderstanding. Vitamin B12 for energy in people without a deficiency. Vitamin B12 plays a critical role in red blood cell formation and nervous system function. When someone is deficient, as vegans often are, as people over 65 frequently are, as people on metformin or proton pump inhibitors regularly become, supplementation corrects a genuine problem and the effects are real and measurable. But the clinical data are specific. There is no evidence that vitamin B12 boosts energy or reduces fatigue in people who are not deficient. The supplement industry does not market this nuance. The industry markets B12 shots as an energy injection. The IV vitamin drip industry, now operating in clinics from Miami to Madrid to Mexico City, charges between $150 and $300 per session to administer B12 alongside other vitamins intravenously, with no clinical evidence that intravenous administration to a non-deficient person produces any benefit beyond what an oral supplement would achieve. And oral supplements cost $2. The mechanism that makes B12 valuable is the correction of a deficiency. Remove the deficiency, and you have removed the mechanism. What remains is expensive urine. 5 that are not theater. 5 that have documented mechanisms, confirmed populations, and real outcomes. Every year, more than 1 in 3 adults worldwide fails to get sufficient omega-3 fatty acids from diet alone. The compound, specifically EPA and DHA from marine sources, reduces blood triglycerides, a fat directly linked to cardiovascular disease. The European Food Safety Authority, which applies pre-approval scrutiny to supplement claims far stricter than the United States Food and Drug Administration, has specifically authorized the claim that omega-3 fatty acids support normal heart function. The VITAL trial, 25,871 participants, randomized and controlled, tracked omega-3 supplementation for 5 years. Fish oil supplements are available in every market on Earth, in every pharmacy from Krakow to Recife to Nairobi, at a cost of roughly $10 to $20 a month. If you do not eat fatty fish 2 to 3 times a week, this is the gap that evidence supports filling. The single most documented nutritional intervention in the history of reproductive medicine is this. Folic acid, taken before and during early pregnancy, reduces neural tube defects in newborns. The mechanism is established. The evidence is not contested. Johns Hopkins, the USPSTF, and every major public health body in North America, Europe, and South America agree on folic acid's benefit for women of childbearing potential. It is not an opinion. It is one of the clearest cause and effect relationships in supplement research. 1 billion people worldwide are estimated to have insufficient vitamin D levels. The compound is produced when skin is exposed to ultraviolet light, and for large portions of the global population, particularly at latitudes above 40 degrees north, sunlight exposure is insufficient for several months of the year. In older adults, Vitamin D supplementation reduces the risk of falls and fractures by improving muscle function and bone density. The European Food Safety Authority has authorized the health claim for vitamin D and bone mineralization. This is not a speculative benefit. It is a documented physiological mechanism with a documented population that needs it. Magnesium deficiency is one of the most common undetected nutritional gaps in the global population. The mineral is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the human body. It is a proven stool softener, confirmed clinically, which is why it is the active compound in pharmaceutical laxatives sold in every pharmacy in the world. Beyond that, magnesium supplementation has documented effects on sleep quality, blood pressure, and muscle cramps in people with low magnesium status. Unlike multivitamins, the mechanism is specific and the target population is identifiable. A blood test tells you whether you need it. Most people who take it without checking their levels do not need it. But most people who need it and are not supplementing do not know they need it. Vitamin B12 belongs in this section, but only with the correct population attached to it. Vegans and vegetarians have no dietary source of B12. People over 65 produce less intrinsic factor, the glycoprotein required, to absorb B12 from food. People on metformin for type 2 diabetes have documented B12 depletion. For these three groups, B12 supplementation addresses a real deficiency with a real mechanism and produces real, measurable outcomes. Corrected anemia, protected nervous system function, reduced cognitive risk. The supplement is not different from the one sold for energy boosting. What is different is the person swallowing it. The same pill that is theater in a 25-year-old without deficiency is medicine in a 60-year-old on metformin. The bottle does not tell you which one you are. A blood test does. The supplement industry generated $155 billion globally in 2024. Of that total, the United States Preventive Services Task Force, after reviewing 84 studies covering nearly 750,000 people, could find sufficient evidence to recommend exactly one supplement for healthy, non-pregnant adults without nutritional deficiencies. 1. The rest of the money went to the feeling of doing something. The industry counted on you never running the math.